Oh, hello again, my lovelies. How are we? Are you all right? Brilliant. Gosh. Right. Let's just get this sorted, Mrs. Bramble. Make sure that we've got this right. Give us 2 seconds. Oh, there we are. Hello again, my lovelies. Sorry, there was a little bit of a delay there. Now, gosh, it's been what a week.
What a week.
What a week. We can't even believe it's been a week since we last saw you.
No.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
The time has just absolutely flown by.
Flown.
We've been very, very busy though.
Yes.
So we'll wait for a couple more people to come onto the stream so then we can say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
But just in case you all don't know and haven't seen our last video of our bedtime story, my name's Mr. Bramble. I'm an explorer and an inventor and just a jack of all trades, really, aren't I?
Yeah.
And this is my lovely wife, Mrs. Bramble.
Hello there. So I do a little bit of map reading and some foraging. So we talk about that in some of the stories that we've told.
We do, yes. And you're excellent at it. And you've got us out of a couple of scrapes on our adventures before, haven't you?
I have indeed. Yes.
So we thought that we would try and make this a regular thing. Every Saturday we're going to come online and tell you a story just before bed, because we're going to head off to bed pretty soon, aren't we? We're pretty tired.
Oh,
you were just saying to me how tired you are.
Yeah.
All sleepy, but never mind. But what we also quite like to do is try and show you a treat that we try and have before bedtime. So we thought we would give it a go. Give us a second. It kept blinking then, didn't it, Mrs. Bramble?
It did.
It was a bit weird. It wasn't. Oh, the stream wasn't happy.
No.
I'm sure that's something James would say. The stream isn't happy. But what we try and do is show you a little treat that we make. Yes. So what did we have last week, Mrs. Bramble?
We had bananas with chocolate, and they were baked bananas.
Oh, we did. And we were going to do them on the fire, but it was a bit windy, wasn't it?
Yes.
But it's lovely to see that the sun has joined us again.
Yeah.
And it's all back.
Beautiful.
So I hope that you're spending lots of time in the garden, especially at the moment, and, getting some fresh air. So what we thought... Hello, Reenie. This is nice to see you. What we thought is we'd show you how to make a very special treat. It's a little bit healthier.
Yes.
Healthier
than last week's.
Than last week's. But what is it, Mrs. Bramble?
It's apple donuts.
Apple donuts.
It's not as unhealthy as it sounds.
It's not. So, shall I go and get the stuff?
You go ahead and get the stuff.
Great
and I'll get ready.
Now, Mrs. Bramble, because you were brilliant at making the bananas and chocolate last week, shall I give it a go making us these this
Yeah, definitely.
And I know how much you like one certain thing, so I've popped that on the board.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's lovely.
It's peanut butter. She absolutely loves peanut butter. So, what we've got... Oh, Mrs. Bramble, could you just bring the camera down a little bit for me so that all the boys and girls can see
definitely.
See the board.
There we go.
Look at that.
There, you can see the board. We'll have to remember to move that back up in a minute.
No problem. Thank you, Mrs. Bramble.
That's right.
What we've got is... I'm going to move that out of the way because there's a story behind that one in a minute. So, we've got 2 lovely apples from the farmer that was just down the road, which is very nice of him. Make sure that you've washed your hands, which we have done. All right. And also, because we're going to be using knives, make sure that Mummy and Daddy give you a hand, or whoever's with you at the moment. All right. We've got 2 lovely apples, and then Mrs. Bramble's favourite peanut butter, which is lovely.
Yeah.
And if you don't like peanut butter, then to be honest, you can kind of find anything to put them on there. You can, if you wanted to, you could put jam on. I really like honey, so I'm probably going to have honey on mine, which would be lovely. So what we do is, if I give you that one, Mrs. Bramble,
I'll hold all of this out the way for you.
You pop the apple on its side, and we reckon that you could probably get about 4 or 5 slices out of one apple.
Depends on how thick you want them to be and how big your apple is.
So, again, we haven't cored the apple or anything like that yet, but what we're going to do is cut them into slices like that. So that's 1, Mrs. Bramble.
Oh,
that's how we like to count, isn't it? 1 Mrs. Bramble, 2 Mrs. Brambles. Oh, it's actually 3. Goodness, we are tired, aren't we?
Yeah.
And 4 Mrs. Bramble. Now, the last bit, especially, like we said, make sure that Mummy and Daddy give you a hand because it can be a little bit tricky cutting sometimes. And that's 5 Mrs. Bramble. And, to be honest, because the end bit is a little bit knobbly.
You can always nibble around the edge a bit.
Like that.
Like that.
You shouldn't talk with your mouth full.
No, you shouldn't.
Oh, and then the top bit.
You're going to cut?
Yeah, we'll cut around it. So what you do is you take... Oh, hello, Leslie. Good to see you. What you do is you take your slice, and because we haven't cored this, you're going to cut just around the core. So kind of just gently stab your knife in.
Yeah.
Around. If you're an expert whiz kid at cutting, then I'm sure you'll do this better than I will. But take the core out, and then you're left with an apple slice donut. Yes. So, what we're going to do a whole bunch of these.
Cut them all together.
Yeah. And then we're going to scoop out. And also, one thing to remember, guys, is the little seeds inside apples. You take them out. And what do you do with them, Mrs. Bramble?
So you can dry them out a little bit so that they're not all damp. And then after a few days, you can then pop them in some fresh compost in a pot and pop some water on top. And hopefully they will sprout into life. And you should be able to grow yourself a little apple tree. I
tell you what, we're going to try and do a couple of more videos. So keep Mummy and Daddy keeping an eye on the Facebook page, and maybe we'll try and show you how to pot a plant. Would you like a bite, Mrs. Bramble?
Oh yes, thank you very much.
Super. So that's our first apple, and as you can see, we can look right through. It's like a little telescope. So that's that one. Mrs. Bramble, did you want to pass me over that other apple?
Can do.
Super.
There we go.
Great stuff. We were absolutely amazed at how many people tuned in to see our last one, didn't we?
We were.
Weren't we? We were really...
2,000 views we got on it in the end.
People. And I think that is just incredible.
Yeah.
And it's really lovely, all the feedback that we've had of you guys, and it seems like you're enjoying us rambling on. So we will definitely try our best. So, 1 Mrs. Bramble. 2 Mrs. Bramble. 3 Mrs. Bramble. Oh, that was tough. And 4 Mrs. Bramble.
Oh, nearly there. There we go. Lovely.
Now, what I'll do, Mrs. Bramble, while I'm coring this one, why don't you show all the boys and girls how you like to make your...
Oh, excellent. Lovely. So,
donuts.
Got the apple slice laid flat, and I'm going to pop some peanut butter on mine. So I'm going to take a scoop of peanut butter out of the jar. I'm going to rest that carefully there. I feel like this is a little bit of a balancing act, and I'm going to spread it on top of the apple core. Now, this can sometimes, or the apple slice, sorry. This can be sometimes a little bit tricky because peanut butter doesn't always like to stick to apples.
But when it does, it makes a very tasty treat, doesn't it?
Very tasty.
Oh no,
treat.
I split my donut.
Oh no.
Never mind.
So there we go.
Hello, Lily. Good to see you.
There we go. Just spreading on.
Oh.
You right there?
It was an aggressive core.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
So we've got a slice peanut buttered up. I'm going to get a little bit more peanut butter and put it on this slice.
That
so just
looks
spreading
wonderful.
it on. So obviously you can spread this on as thick or as thin as you like. There we go.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Did you want to pass the special ingredient and talk a little bit about it?
So, anyone who watched our bedtime story last week will have known that we helped Mrs. Hedgehog. And she was feeling a little bit nervous, a little bit scared and anxious at the moment because she's not seeing as many people. So we helped her with a few things. But like we said, we'll put the link to the video here so that you can see it sort of later as well. But one of the ingredients that we helped get for her was some nuts from Mr. Squirrel, who lives in the Wild Wood, which is where we're based. And we found this on our garden wall, didn't we?
We did indeed.
It's a little trail mix, and it was a lovely present from Mrs. Hedgehog to say thank you for giving her a hand. So we're going to sprinkle these on top of ours, aren't we?
We are indeed.
Now, you can sprinkle whatever you want on yours. I know that Mrs. Bramble's got a really good idea of some that's a little bit cheeky, but what were you thinking about putting on yours if we managed to have some?
So I was thinking that if we'd had any in the house, we could have used chocolate chips to sprinkle on top, or something like maybe a candied fruit of some sort, or some other types of dry fruit other than raisins.
I was going to say, and I had an idea, didn't I? Maybe some like fresh berries or something like that. So what I'm doing is I've got squeezy honey. If you don't have to have squeezy honey, but I'm just drizzling a little bit on mine. Pop that there, and then we're going to get some of these. Here you are, Mrs. Bramble.
Thank you.
Oh, that looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That is going to be a really tasty treat. And like we said, these are a little bit healthier. Oh no, I've got honey on my finger.
There we go. Sticking them on a little bit.
Great. We'll take some pictures of these guys so that then you can see what they look like. Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right.
I tell you what, we're going to put these aside just for now.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll take some pictures
too much
before we snaffle them.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Maybe we can have one while we're telling a bedtime story.
Maybe.
Right, let's put this over here. So, we hope that you're all okay. That everyone's doing all right. So, we might as well get to our story. Now, well remembered, Mrs. Bramble.
There we go, that's a bit better.
So, we thought that we would tell you about something that happened to us this week, which is very exciting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, what was it? I'll let you start, Mrs. Bramble.
Oh, okay. So, it was about a few days ago, wasn't it? It was a few days ago we had a call.
We did.
And it was from Mr. and Mrs. Cat. Yeah. And they said to us, how are you doing? And we were like, we're all right, thank you. We're getting along just fine at the moment. Things are a little bit tough, but we're getting through. And we asked them how they've been doing, and they said that they've been doing very well, and that the only problem that they'd had was that their kittens, they'd got together lots of activities for their kittens to do over the last kind of week and a bit, and they were starting to run out of ideas.
They were starting to wind up Mummy and Daddy just a little bit.
Yeah, the kittens were we're
getting a little bit restless.
Yes,
is the way that Mummy Cat, Mrs. Cat, put it. And they live on a farm that's just outside of the Wildwood, so they're not that far away. And we check on them quite a lot because they're good friends of ours, and we love seeing and having some playtime with the kittens because they're always absolutely lovely, and they're so polite, aren't they?
Yes,
and they're very lovely. Very good, but they're struggling for things to do at the moment, and especially considering the Easter holidays have just started, they wanted a bank of ideas of creative things that they can do with the kittens. So they asked us if we knew anyone or if we had any ideas ourselves of things to do. So we said, yeah, no problem, leave it with us. We'll stick our heads together and we'll come up with some ideas. And so we sat and thought for a little while, didn't we? Yeah, we did. And James has come up with some really cool ideas. Yeah, some fun things to do on the Facebook page, the Multivax at Home Heroes. And you don't have to do them all at once, so that's nice. It's just a list of things that you could kind of put together and keep in your house and
get up to.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the next few weeks.
So, but we were thinking, no, there's got to be someone else as well. There's got to be someone else. And then we remembered Max and Millie Clove. Now, if you guys don't know who Max and Millie Clove are, they are Father Christmas's niece and nephew, which means that their mummy, Miss Clove is Father Christmas's sister. That's it. So we're good friends with them, and we thought, we know Max and Millie will come up with some good activities and good ideas. They do that quite a lot.
Yeah.
They go out and they play with the animals and the children in the wood, and they have parties and they have storytelling nights, and they do all sorts all the time. So we thought they'll be able to help. And then what did we do, Mrs. Bramble?
So we said to Mr. and Mrs. Cat, we said, no worries, we'll go and speak to Max and Millie and see what they can do. We gave Max and Millie a quick ring. And
we did.
We gave Mrs. Clove a quick ring. Didn't we?
Yes.
And we asked her how they've been getting along, and she said that they were getting along fine. They were doing okay. And we asked her how Father Christmas was as well.
Yes.
And she said that Father Christmas was well too. And that he had been very impressed with how the children had been behaving generally around the world. He'd been very impressed. His
exact words were, so far, nearly everybody is doing really, really well. Nearly everyone's made it onto the nice list. So keep up the good work.
Yeah.
And if you're going to speak to all the boys and girls, then tell them that from me. So Father Christmas sends his love, and well done. Well done so far, guys. Keep up the good work.
Yeah. And then we said to Mrs. Clove, now look, we were wondering if we could speak to Max and Millie, because we've got some thoughts that we want to share with them and see if they've got any ideas. And she said, of course you can speak to Max and Millie. So we let Max and Millie know our little predicament, and the kind of the query from Mr. and Mrs. Cat. And
they said, no problem, leave it with us. We'll come up with something. So we had lunch, didn't we? Oh, what did we have? We had jacket potatoes and cheese with fresh salad.
And a bit of coleslaw on the side.
Oh, it was lovely. Yes. So we had that. And just as we had finished putting the last bit of jacket potato in our mouth, we got a call from Max and Millie Clove. And they had come up with some amazing ideas, hadn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, they were brilliant. So hold on. What was there? There was
the cloud spotting and storytelling.
That's it. Yeah. So you stand outside, look up into the sky, find a cloud, and tell a story about it. And usually you can kind of find some really interesting, cool shapes, and you can maybe see like a giant dog in there, or a really fast car, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else was there?
So there was the cloud spotting and storytelling.
Yep.
Then there was the den making.
Oh, yes. So make a den in your house, and you can make it out of all sorts. You can make it out of sofa cushions, or bed sheets, or whatever. And what was the third? They gave 3, didn't they?
Oh, it was learning how to juggle.
Oh, that was it. Learning how to juggle. Now, I can juggle. Mrs. Bramble, can you juggle?
Yeah.
You can. I tell you what, we'll show you a video of maybe a quick snippet of Mrs. Bramble juggling on another video.
That's pressure.
On another video. Maybe next bedtime story. But they came up with these brilliant ideas. So, of course, we rang back. We said thank you to them, and it was lovely to speak to them. And we rang back Mr. and Mrs. Cat, didn't we?
We did.
And we let them know all of Max and Millie's ideas. And we reminded them about James's stuff as well. And they thought, yeah, that sounds like a good bank of ideas of things to kind of get us going, and all of the different things to do. And then we didn't hear from them.
No.
Until this morning.
This morning.
bright and early this morning.
Early.
Oh, goodness. It was so early. It was, about 6 o'clock?
Yes.
In the morning.
They must have been up bright and early with the birds.
So they called us, and the kittens were very, very lively.
They were.
They wanted to tell us all of the different adventures that they'd been having. So they told us, what was it? They told us about the cloud storytelling first, didn't they?
They said how much they'd enjoyed it, that they'd laid on their backs and looked up at the clouds, and they had an amazing story to tell us about a castle.
Yeah, that was it.
And there was a knight.
And there was a dragon.
Yeah.
And the dragon was breathing fire everywhere, and he was being a real menace, and he was causing trouble. And then who was it that saved the castle and the knight?
The fairy princess.
Oh, that was it. There was a fairy princess. She flew in, and it was amazing, and she wished her wand around, and the dragon kind of clamped his mouth shut to stop breathing the fire. Yeah. It was brilliant. It was very, very lively. 6 o'clock in the morning, but they were so excited to tell us, and it was really lovely.
Yeah.
And then they told us about the den building, and they explained that Granny and Grandad Cat are currently staying with them.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
So they built this den with Granny and Grandad Cat, which was lovely, and they had lunch.
Yeah.
In their den.
In the den.
What did they have? They had lots of nibbles, like little sandwiches and crisps and some fruit, and they had a lovely lunch in the den with Mummy, Daddy, Granny, Grandad, Cat. They also did they read some books in there, so they made it into like a little book reading nook, didn't they? Which they really enjoyed. And they played hide and seek in the front room. Yeah. And they used the den as one of the hiding spots as well, which they absolutely loved. And then what was the third task that they told us about?
It was the juggling.
It was the juggling. I'll let you tell this bit because it really made you laugh.
Yeah. So the kittens were very excited to say that one of them had learned how to juggle and was slowly going to teach his brothers and sisters how to do it. Yes. But the real success had been Mr. Cat, who had successfully learned how to juggle and who was very proudly showing us that he could juggle. And we were very surprised that he wasn't grabbing random objects from the kitchen to help him juggle more objects.
I did wonder whether he was just going to, I don't know, pick up like the wooden spoons and start juggling the ladle. Well. I think Mrs. Cat was getting a little bit wary of the different things that he started juggling. Yeah. But they were so happy to have had all of these new ideas of things to do. And obviously, of course, it doesn't mean that you kind of just assign one thing to do a day. No. You know, you can do the cloud storytelling any day. So long as there are clouds, and you know, maybe don't go outside if it's a bit wet because you might get a bit soggy. A dens aren't just for Mondays, are they?
They're not.
I think we should put that on a t-shirt. Dens aren't just for Mondays. I like that.
Yeah, that's lovely.
But they absolutely loved the idea, and it was really lovely to catch up with them, and it's really important, especially now, to make sure that you stay connected with those people that are around you. And make sure that, you know, you give them a call, see how they are. And if you could share a story or share something to do, then that's really going to brighten someone's day. And also maybe talk to the people who you haven't talked to in a while or who aren't as easy to get hold of. And, you know, check in with them and maybe just try and brighten their day a little bit by giving them a story or a little task to do. And, you know, there's no pressure, but hopefully it will just bring a little smile to their day, especially when, you know, we're stuck inside. Yeah. And if you can try and get out in the garden and do some stuff, then that's brilliant, especially considering the sun's here. And, we just thought it was lovely. Yeah. And it was really lovely to speak to the kittens.
We wanted to tell you the story.
And they were so excited to tell us all of that stuff. But maybe just not at 6 a.m. next time. Anyway, look, we're going to go and have our apple sliced donuts. We really hope that you've enjoyed our little bedtime story. We're going to try and do this every Saturday at 7 o'clock. So we're going to tell you something that's happened to us during the week. We thought it was lovely, all of the responses that we'd had so far. Keep an eye on our Facebook page. You know, if you can try and do some of the activities that James is setting out, that would be lovely. He'd love to see all of them, and we would too, because so far it's been brilliant. We've seen lots of, you know, someone made a really funny sign the other day. There's been some really funny jokes told. There's all sorts. And I know that James is going to try and ramp up all of the stuff that's going on at the moment because there was some good news. So check out the Facebook page and everything like that for more info on there. And we're going to see you again next week. We're going to go and make our hot chocolates, have our apple sliced donuts, and we hope that you all have a really good sleep, have a really good week, and we'll see you again really, really soon. All right? Good night, all.
Bye for now.
See you later. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.